Greetings and welcome to a Prayerful Pause. My name is Nancy Woodworth-Hill. Amongst other things, I'm a spiritual director. Today we're going to look at what I call the three faces of compassion. Given our cultural conditioning that love is a feeling, it's easy to understand the expectation that Christians should behave in warm, fuzzy, loving ways. The biblical sense of love, though, is not about emotion, but about action. So compassion, with its root meaning to suffer or bear with, means something like the sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. There is built into this word a sense of both feeling and action. The exercise that I'm going to talk about actually comes from my mentor, the Reverend Dr. Rob Foyle. When we think about compassion, we're usually considering actions which are tender in nature. However, when we look at Jesus and the Jesus stories, there are a number of his actions which are fierce and mischievous as well as compassionate. So correct use of these can bring about change, or in Christian speak, transformation. We will talk about how to choose which is best at the end of our conversation together today. So before we look at these three faces of compassion, I need to say that not everyone is able to easily do the exercise I will outline at the end. My husband can't. He's just not built this way. So don't get upset if it doesn't come easily. It may be enough for you to be aware that there are differences between tenderness, mischievousness, and fierceness. So first, let's talk about tenderness. It's grounded in empathy and results in the desire to nurture a care for those in distress. Tenderness must be guided by right usage, so it's not for self-aggrandizement or to manipulate others. If it is, then it needs to be redeemed because it's pity. Tenderness results in seeking mutual benefit. So we can think of times when Jesus was tender by looking at some of the healing stories. Tenderness can enable transformation. In Jesus' day, the leper was persona non grata, and a simple touch from the Holy One changed how you can think of yourself. Nothing will be the same again. Fierceness, the second face, grounded in anger that gives us the energy or motivation to fight injustice. Fierceness must be guided, also be guided by right usage. Human anger cannot do the righteous work of God. If it is guided by anger, that too needs to be redeemed. Fierceness results in a quality of single-minded, determined action. We can think of a time when biblical figures are fierce. So for instance, in the Hebrew scriptures, prophets cry for justice and an end to the oppression of the poor. Jesus and the story of the money changers in the temple, where he went in and overturned their tables. We often see that as anger, but there was a fierce statement about the purpose of the temple. Fierceness can also enable transformation. It can raise the possibility of an alternative view. The third face is mischievousness. It's grounded in a playful curiosity. Mischievousness must also be guided by right usage. In some ways, you can think of it as recapturing the innocence and curiosity of a 3-year-old who knows no limitation to the bounds of curiosity and knows only wonder at the finding of a new discovery. there's an indirect or hidden quality to mischievousness. We can think of times it's used in Jesus' conversation with the rich young ruler and in many of his parables. A clear example is of the woman taken in adultery. Jesus famously said, "Let him who is without sin cast the first stone." Notice that he doesn't say anything about the second, third, fourth, fifth, you got it, stones. It's about the conditions of the first stone. And none is cast because they realize that they are not without sin. Mischievousness can enable transformation by changing someone's perspective, and they often will have little idea about how it was done. So let's recap this. The three faces of compassion. Tenderness, and it's used in the face of pain. You can think of it as redeemed pity. Fierceness, which is used in the face of injustice, and it's redeemed anger. And mischievousness, which is used in the face of resistance, is redeemed sarcasm. So you can think of redeeming as buying back, of returning, of seeking wholeness. Pity, anger, and sarcasm each have us hooked, whereas tenderness, fierceness, and mischievousness do not. So here's the practice. To discern which of the three kinds of compassion to practice does take some preparatory work. However, once it's been completed, you can use it very straightforward manner into the future. So here's the steps. First, like anything else, take some time to prepare yourself. Come to your center. You may wish to do this with a few deep breaths, sitting quietly, however works best for you. Now, each of the three kinds of compassion will have a location in your body, and you need to note that this varies between individuals. So what works for you is right for you. Tenderness. When you think about being tender, where in your body do you sense it? Where is it located? Let's move on to fierceness. When you think about being fierce, about standing firm in the face of injustice, where in your body do you sense it? Where is this fierceness located? And the third, mischievousness. When you think about being mischievous, where in your body do you sense it? Where is it located? So we now have three different places in our body associated with these three different faces of compassion. So call to mind a situation, and I would definitely not begin with the worst one in your life, because this is just an exercise. I want you to try that situation, literally try to put it into each of those three places in your body, those three faces of compassion. And if you're able, and remember not everyone will be able to do this, there is a place where it fits. It will seem to kind of slide into that slot and fit. And that will tells you which type of compassion it is you need in that situation. Into your future, this can be done the same thing. Just take a moment, get a little bit quiet, and take the situation at hand and place it into those three places in your body to know which aspect, which face of compassion to engage. Another note. Most people can do 2 of the 3 faces of compassion really well. The third is a growing edge. And I have said that I would give just about anything to figure out how to be mischievous on the spot. That is my growing edge. So this practice, the 3 faces of compassion, is useful if you're in a situation that you're unsure how to handle it. Just slot it into those 3 places of yours, see where it fits, and bring an appropriate response from there. Go in peace.